Hello and welcome to the Heat Army podcast. We hope you had a fantastic Christmas. And, Gateshead certainly helped in that with 3 points away to Darlington. We're going to be speaking all about that. And I'm joined by Mickey. Mickey, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Yourself?
This has happened today. There we go. Look at the two lines. So,
Pregnant?
yeah, pregnant. What can I say?
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know if
I'll be looking out for that Meg Baker. I think it might be her.
I'm a right hussy around this time. So it could be anybody. So unfortunately on Christmas Day, my wife started to feel ill after everybody left. And she did a lateral flow test. She tested positive. I tested negative the day after when we both had PCR tests, but it's been in the post and it's arrived today. So I've got the joy of another PCR test, but at the moment I feel all right. So fingers crossed everything will be all right. But so apart from that, but was Santa good to you, Mickey?
He certainly was. I kind of complain.
Oh, good.
Anyway.
I was showing Mickey one of my presents, and there's only 2 cans of lager in that. So Mickey told us before we came on air to keep hydrated, so that's what I'm going to do.
What you need is an iron mate glass.
Oh yeah,
I can see that.
I can just see it. What I need is more manly wrists so I can hold that glass. Thank you everyone that's messaged in already. We've got a message here from Gordon. He's put, "Even lads, how he's doing?" Well, we're getting by. Miss thoughts for evening, lads, and Charles Woff. Good evening and happy Christmas to you both. Yes,
Charlie, to you too.
It's been a good Christmas, apart from getting the old Rona just afterwards. But I've got nowhere to go. So, but as you can see on the bottom there, we're going to be speaking about the great win away at Darlington. Mickey, you were there. We'll talk about that. We've got some post-match interviews to put up from Gateshead FC TV. We're going to be speaking to Mark Carruthers, obviously big friend of the show, and we're going to be speaking to from behind enemy lines, Niall Bromley. He's the commentator on match days for Blythe, and he's also the assistant media manager up there now. So it'd be nice to speak to him in the build-up to the big Derby game. Of course, we didn't manage to get the one that we wanted on Boxing Day due to the pitch being pardon me. Being absolutely and this one here from Platin Leontev Vum dot and go. I don't know what that is. If you could translate that to us, unless it's a bot. But yeah. And how was your Christmas? Well, we've just said. But it is fully interactive. Get their messages sent in. You know how to do it. And want you to like and subscribe as well. And well, as I say, we'll be speaking more about Darlington in depth. But you were down there, Mickey, and say great following, and I'm guessing a fantastic atmosphere as well.
Great atmosphere. I don't know how many there was. Looked somewhere between 200 and 300. But the lads, the clothesline had decamped into Blackhall Meadows or whatever the ground's called, and made a hell of a racket. And I was stood up on the grass bank just watching the match. And I mean, Darlington started well, to be fair, and then we took over. And at half time, I was disappointed we hadn't got a goal because we'd really, really went at them. And like in the 67th minute, McCauley come on, and within 5 minutes we're 1-0 up. 2 minutes later, it's ones each. Darlington fans have barely got "You're Not Singing Anymore" out of the closet, and Kedwin put one back up to 2-1, and then McCauley rattled in the third. Jacob Chapman nigh on in with the Heat Army behind the goal.
I was having to furiously refresh Twitter because obviously my wife was in bed, not very well, and I was having to occupy the kids. So I was on the sly having a quick look at the scores. Apparently there was 366 away fans, which is fantastic.
Was it? I didn't see how many there actually was.
And we've got the scenes when Chapman jumped on top of me when Matt scored his third. There we go. John Laverick's translation was Blythe nil, Gates at 8. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's going to be a tough game. It's always like an FA Cup game, that one, isn't it, Mickey?
Oh, it's one of the games you look forward to, but when the day actually arrives, you feel sick as a dog.
Yeah, I'd say.
To be fair, they've got the upper hand on and results-wise, we haven't beat them for a while. And they'll be buoyed by the performance at against Spinney on whatever day it was, because I've lost track of what day it is.
Yeah, as I say, a very good, performance by Gated, and we're going to play a little interview with Mike Williamson. This was after the game. This is from Gates FC TV. So this is what Mike Williamson had to say after the Darlington game. And when we come back, Mark Rivers will be joining us.
Mike, it's a 3-1 win here at Darlington this afternoon. How do you reflect on that afternoon?
Tough afternoon, it really was. We started quite slowly, really. They came out and we were quite sloppy. Felt like we'd had Christmas off, and they were on the front foot. But testament to the boys, we slowly stuck with it, and we kept doing the nitty gritty, the kind of fundamentals, as we say. And we ended up turning it after about 20 minutes, and then we had a few good passages of play. And I thought we were unlucky not to break the deadlock in the first half. But yeah, ultimately second half, we came out and we were on the front foot, which was really pleasing.
You made a change at the break in midfield. Obviously, Luke Williams coming off for Dan Ward. Was that more of a tactical change, or was it a knock or something that Wardy was carrying?
Yeah, no, it was looking after Wardy. His Achilles tightened a little bit, so it was more protection rather than anything else. But as well, we know obviously Luke coming on, he's a bit more of a technician, and he finds pockets, picks up spaces, and we thought that might work well as well. So yeah, a little bit of both.
Things seem to kind of open up somewhat in the second half, especially in sort of the final 15 minutes or so. But going 1-0 up with about 15 minutes left, I mean, did you feel like you kind of deserved to take the lead on sort of the whole balance of things up to that point?
Yeah, definitely. I felt as though we had enough chances and we had enough possession to take the lead. And then ultimately we were pegged back straight after when you're at your most vulnerable, which was disappointing. But again, the lads didn't let their heads drop, and they kept the energy, kept the intensity, and we went and got another one.
Macaulay, of course, coming off the bench to get another 2 to add to his tally for the season. I mean, how much of an impact does that have when you've got a player like him that can come off the bench and pretty much change the game as he has done today?
Yeah, listen, we've got front 4 or 5 that can come on and do that. And it's difficult, in a way we've had opportunities to rotate with certain little issues with niggles and a little bit of illness here and there, but all of them deserve to start. And I'm saying to them week in, week out, there's going to be disappointing lads because we've got a squad of players that all deserve to play, and we can only pick 11 ultimately, and they've all been fantastic. But yeah, like I say, Macaulay, he's been on fire, and he's a real threat all over the pitch.
Just how pleasing is it overall for you to, obviously, after the disappointment, I suppose, of having the Boxing Day game called off, to come here and keep the momentum going with another away win? Massive,
yeah. Like I say, it's never easy coming here or going away to any game, but ultimately it was, we had a job to do. We know obviously conditions, it's really heavy. We've got to look after the boys. We've got another game on the 2nd, another big derby. So yeah, it's all focused on ourselves.
Well, there we go. That was Mike Williamson speaking after the Darlington game. But we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Carruthers. Did you have a good Christmas, first and foremost?
I did, very good. Still busy and still working. But had some good time with the family, which was needed. Obviously, the nature of the job that I do, sometimes family comes second, not on purpose, but sometimes it's the way things are. So it was nice to spend a few days just focused on family rather than work, which was good, but right back into it now.
Yeah, certainly are. And obviously, Gateshead had a good result against Darlington, went down there. Hard-fought game the first half, and obviously Macaulay Langstaff coming back into the side and scoring goals is a massive positive, isn't it?
Look, I think overall, this Gateshead squad, there's questions continually asked of it. And they keep answering those questions emphatically. And, there's been so many questions thrown. Is a squad big enough? Can this player do this? Can this player do that? Can this one keep it going? And all the time they just keep, I'm not going to say surprising us, because I think now it's gone beyond being a surprise. It's now just something you kind of expect. And with that expectation comes a little bit of a danger because, one knock could, you don't want to say hamper the momentum because I don't think I would, but, that it'd be interesting to see how they did react to a knock if it did come. But at the moment, it just doesn't look like it will. And, it's 7 wins in a row now in the league, 2 points behind Brackley with 2 games in hand. They've got a tricky game on hang on, where are we? What day? On Sunday. I think they play Kettering, which is never an easy game. So it's making for an interesting period. Everything's positive. I don't think I can't remember the last time you looked at a Gateshead squad and you could make a case for 18, 19 players to be starting. You look at the lads on the bench on Boxing Day and not on Boxing Day, on Tuesday, and every single one of them you could make a case for them starting. So they're good problems to have. As I say, everything's positive and looking forward to a big game on Sunday.
Yeah,
I need a calendar. I need a calendar in front of me here, so I know what day I'm at.
I know it's.
I didn't have a clue what day it was today, to be honest. Not a clue.
But we do know what day it is tomorrow, though, and it's Mickey's birthday, and in his honour, we've got a firework display ready to go. 1 second.
No.
Watch this. Hey, there we go.
That was a bit of a damp squib, wasn't it?
I could have went with some party lights, but I didn't think that would really.
I was going to say that's one spark for every year, wasn't it?
Yeah. he's got his half century coming up, man. It's a good innings, that.
Good. I'm
I vote tomorrow.
Yeah. So happy birthday for tomorrow, Mickey. I wasn't going to let you forget.
Yes.
All the best.
Yeah. I would say just
looking crying in a corner.
I mean, looking forward to the Blythe game. It adds a little bit extra space that Blythe have managed to pick up 3 points against Spennymoor, who are no pushovers themselves. And it didn't need any more space added. It's going to have that cup atmosphere and feel about it. Anything can happen. And with Blythe hitting a little bit of form now, it just makes it that more enticing, doesn't it?
Look, I was at the game against Spennymoor, and Blythe were very good. Obviously, there's a raft of ex-Gateshead players in there who were all key to the end result. I looked at, JJ O'Donnell and Nicky Devidics in midfield were very, very good. Worked very hard, and Connor Thompson, I'd probably say, barring maybe when Spartans went FC United in the FA Cup and won 2-0, it was probably his best game for the club because his pace just caused no end of bother for the Spennymoor defence. Now, what I will say, and I know you've got Connor coming on to discuss the game, but sorry, go ahead to discuss. I apologise if he's in the background. I think before yesterday, you may have said, Gateshead will go there and could comfortably win, and now there's an element of doubt in there because Spartans. I saw something in Spartans that I haven't seen for a while. Defensively they were very good. The back four from Burn to Lees, another ex-Gateshead to Buddle, another ex-Gateshead to Michael Little, another. They were very solid as a back four. They got good protection from the midfield. They look dangerous up front. Dan Maguire looks like he's approaching fitness again. So there was and what I shouldn't forget that the goalkeeper had a really good game after struggling a bit in the last game against Southport. So for me, it's suddenly become a very difficult game. One element you shouldn't ignore is the pitch as well. The pitch took a bit of
that's my next question because I know that it's been a bit heavy up there, the pitches, as a lot of them are around the country at the moment. But that'll be a bit of a bit of Gateshead's game as well.
It will, but it'll also hamper Blythe because they try to play out from the back as well. They try and play through the thirds like Gateshead do. Alex Mitchell is fairly comfortable with the ball at his feet, so they will try and play out, I'd imagine. But credit to Peter the groundsman up there because he works very, very hard. He works long hours as a pretty much a volunteer. And the fact they got the game on yesterday was down to him, really. Massive credit to him. I don't know how it'll I think we've had rain today. I think it's got to rain again tomorrow. But after that, there's a couple of days of dry weather. Hopefully, that'll give it a chance to rest and maybe get on there and do a bit of work. So, but I'd imagine it'll still be heavy on Sunday. But as you say, it will hamper Gateshead, but it'll do similar to Blythe because it's a very similar style Terry Mitchell's trying to impose there now.
And as I say, we knew when Terry Mitchell would go up there that things would kind of change, take a little while to turn around. It seems to be happening now, but hopefully, from our point of view, it won't come to bite us in the backside. But you say, Mark, you were obviously there covering Spennymoor as well. A lot of former Gated players in that side. Well, not so many now. A few Gated players in that side. How did they perform? Because Spennymoor's in a transitional period at the moment.
And that's how they looked. They looked as if they're caught between where they've been and where the new management team want to go. I've got a lot of time for Jono and Bernard. They're two good guys. I think I've said to you kind of off here, Dave, that the documentary didn't exactly do them justice. It portrayed them in a light that is so far away from where they're at. I think they will improve Spennymoor, but that game at Spartans, they had a spell after half time for about 15, 20 minutes where they got the equaliser, but they had 2 or 3, possibly a few more, actually, probably 4 or 5 good chances. And the game all hinged, I think, on a chance when Glenn Taylor went through on goal and Mitchell has come off his line and made a brilliant save, to be fair. I just think if Taylor scores, as you would expect him to, Spenny could probably have gone on and won that game. But again, given credit to Spartans, they created just as many chances. So there was a bit of a fragility about Spenny. I thought that was something I've not really associated with a Spennymoor side for a while. But again, I will reiterate, I do think Jono and Bernard will improve them given time. It might not happen in a month. It could take a couple of months. It might not even be this season. It might be a case of just finish as high as possible this season and then rebuild in the summer. But I think there will be changes, but I think they will get them competitive next season and they'll be a threat next season.
Yeah, let's say I think they're already a threat at the beginning of this season. Things didn't work out the way they wanted, of course. But obviously we're coming to the end of the year, the calendar year, that is. And be amiss if we didn't have a little review of some of the players that have stood out this year. I mean, there's so many in the Gateshead lineup. I just want to pick out a few names, and if you want to throw any into the mix as well, please do. But I think I even said to Mark at the beginning of the season when we signed him, I wasn't in awe of him at first, but he's really changed my perspective on him and given players a chance, which I always did. But Owen Bailey, I think Mark even told me about him about this time last year, and wow, you can see the as Nelly said, the boy, but the man, he's enjoying himself. You can see that, and the development is there to see as well. And it's not just his defensive side of the game. We've seen him looking like Greg Ollie when he's got forward as well. He's been picking out passes, and I don't know if I said it in the last one. I do owe him an apology because I credited his assist to Dan Ward on the last home game. So apologies to that, but I just credit to the lad how well he's doing.
I think the big thing to ask Kate, Dave, is, I mean, you've just said that you weren't, overly excited by the signing. You have not credited him with an assist. I think the question should go to you: is what's your problem with Owen Bailey? What is your problem with Owen Bailey? Right?
I knew I shouldn't have had him on. In pre-season, it's always hard to gauge how a player will fit into the side. And when we signed Owen Bailey, it looked like, because we didn't have Matty Jacob at the time, it looked like he could be a left back. He wasn't setting the world alight in the left back position. We've been blessed in that position with Scott Barrow, and George Smith showed us flashes last season. So when Owen was put in there, it wasn't like, okay, is this going to be the replacement for the season? Obviously, that's not his position. He can play there if needed, but he showed that he's very capable as a centre back when needed. He can play just in front of the back four. He can play higher up the midfield, and he gets forward as well. So he's that box to box midfielder that Gateshead hasn't had in many a year. And I think I might be wrong, but Mickey, is he starting to look like the Steve Salvin to you?
That's high praise. That's really high praise. Similar type of style, but not as tall.
Yeah.
But I do like what he's done. I mean, he went through yesterday 1-on-1, and the keeper saved his shot. but he's just a common. It's just really him and Jack Hunter are two similar type of players. Where this Jack was playing in the back yesterday, and he played immaculate yesterday. But on Owen Bailey, he's just gives you that little bit of comfort when he's sitting in front of the back four. And I agree, he's been one of the finds for this year. But for me, Greg Ollie has been outstanding.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got the fantastic four as well up front. And for me, Greg Ollie stood out a mile as well. And Louis Story, he impresses in pre-season, and as games go by, yeah, he doesn't look older than his age, but he's absolutely fantastic. He was absolutely brilliant yesterday. So Louis Story and Greg Ollie have stood out a lot as well for me.
Definitely. And
can I just jump in on Owen? So I mean, I saw a lot of Owen covering Newcastle's 23s when he was at Newcastle, and he captained them at a very young age. Even when senior players came in when they would come back from injury or suspension or whatever, or just needed game time, he always captained the side. Now, I think Mike and Busted and obviously Louis now, what they look for in players is, are they comfortable on the ball and will fit into the dressing room? Is the mentality right? They're kind of the three things I look for. Now, Owen ticks all those boxes. He's a good lad. He loves the game. You can see his hunger and desire to make a name for himself. And I think he's found a little bit of a home at Gateshead. I did a piece for the Sunderland Echo or the Shields Gazette. I can't remember where it went, but where he was talking about his career, how he was, the release from Newcastle, getting over the mental side of that, getting over what's been a horrible time with injuries as well, by the way. He had a nightmare towards the end of his time at Newcastle when he looked on the brink of some sort of involvement in the first team. But I just think that the other thing that he gives, and we've spoken about this before, is versatility. So you mentioned that he started at left back. Now, he'd admit that's not his position, but he can't play that. He can play right back. He can play centre back. We've seen he can play a number of roles in midfield as well. So I think from what you said there, Dave, he's become someone who is possibly one of the most important players in that squad because of the amount of roles he can fill. I totally agree with Mickey. I think Greg Ollie has been fantastic this season. I think he's gone to another level because of the captaincies maybe giving him that boost of the extra responsibility. We can't ignore Macaulay Langstaff for what he's turned into now. Again, I go back to pre-season and even when the lads were training, when lockdown was going on, they were still able to train in preparation for pre-season, and all the talk around the club was, Macca's on fire in training. Now, when you see Adam Campbell come in, you saw Kedwin come in, you've got Paul Blackett, who'd been in good form on loan elsewhere at Blythe and Whitby. You kind of thought, well, Macca, because it hadn't quite happened for him yet, he's going to be fourth choice. Now, I think you were both there at Hebburn first pre-season game, and he stood out like a sore thumb. He looked a completely different player. His passing, his movement, his touch, everything was just of the highest quality. And I know speaking to Kevin Boland, the Hebburn manager, he said where they got him from. And it was a case of he's kind of always been there, for the last sort of year. He's been at the club. He just hadn't hit those levels. Now, it's one thing doing it in pre-season. It's another thing doing it when the competitive stuff gets in the way. But he's been so impressive. And I think, it's more of a surprise when he doesn't miss. When he does miss than when he, doesn't. He's, for me, someone who's going to be massive throughout the second half of the season.
Yeah, and another player as well, Mick Scully, he's put Dan Ward, another player that's impressed this season as well. And Dan even said to us, I think just after the season started or just before, that last season really it didn't click for him. We got cameo appearances from him. He was played more of as an impact sub on either the right or the left, and a little bit higher up than where we've been seeing him play. He said to us that he wanted to play central midfield, and we're seeing that. Plus, like Owen Bailey, he's getting into those attacking positions as well. And it's the versatility, as we've mentioned, right throughout this season, that we've been able to have. Ollie can drop deep. You got Campbell slots in there. You got Ward slots in there. It can bamboozle defenses, and I think that's how we've opened up so many.
The comparison with Owen is a good one because Dan has had so many knocks throughout what is still a very young career. He's had bad injuries at Newcastle and Middlesbrough. He was obviously released by both clubs, so he's got back, that sort of mental strength to get back from those knocks. Didn't quite happen at Spennymoor for him. Went Ireland and then COVID hit, so he's continually been knocked throughout his young career, and I think that maybe played a little part in him having to settle at Gateshead, and why he didn't settle in straight away. But I think when you look at him now and you see the energy and the drive and the quality on the ball and the ability to pick passes when he's not being mistaken for Owen Bailey or vice versa, he's getting in good positions, he's making things happen, and most of all, he looks full of confidence, and he looks as if he's got, not that I'd ever doubt his passion for the game, but he looks like he's got a bit of that back now. And I think you're seeing it's a great point that's being made. He is someone who I think is probably surprised a few this season.
Yeah, and as I say, someone Mick Scully and a couple other people they've sent in messages. But the next player who I was going to talk about, and I'm hoping his loan can be extended, is Matty Jacob, the lad on loan from Hull. He has been so impressive. He's even got on the score sheet as well. He's dangerous going forward. His defensive duties have been fantastic. Dare I say, one of the best left backs we've had at the club for a long time, and we've seen him develop along. And you can only imagine that the parent club Hull will be very happy with what's happened at Gateshead for him.
Well, does he want to go back there and play 23s football where it's a little bit mundane? It's all predictable. It's that sort of academy style of get the ball down and just pass it, and there's not a purpose to it at some clubs. I mean, Gateshead do play a similar style. They get it down and play it, but there's a purpose. They're not just doing what some academy sides do, where it's almost like whoever gets a majority possession wins the game. Or do they want to play where things matter? Where players are playing for their livelihoods. And he's at a full-time club. He's getting full-time training. He's developed so far from the player that came in at the start of the season. For me, someone who could do a job longer term for Gateshead if that opportunity came along, and someone that I think a lot of the rest of the squad could really develop with this squad and with the club as it hopefully progresses to the next level.
It certainly will. Well, we're going to be joined shortly by our next guest, Mark. You're very welcome to stay on if you'd like to stay with us.
Stick around if you want us to stick around.
We're going to play a little advert on what you should be doing, liking and subscribing, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Niall. So that's what you should be doing.
Hello, everybody. Remember to like and subscribe and share the show.
Well, before we start, he comes on from behind enemy lines in his colours as well. Oh, Niall, what are you doing to her? Can you hear us, Niall? Oh, is everyone froze, or there's just Niall? Can you hear me, Niall?
Yeah, I had to wear them.
Oh, you had to wear them. That's all right then. Oh, I think we've got a slight delay, Niall. If you could just log out and log back in, that would be fantastic. Because I think we've just got it. Or move closer to your router. That would be great. So I'm just going to remove Niall there. He needs to
line in the living room like Dave was it?
Yeah, I'll just kick him out from the studio. He's going out himself there.
What we should have done is when he said, "As everyone froze, Mickey," we should have just went.
Yeah, that would have been we've got a couple more here. Scott Barrow, finest quality left back. Matty is top quality to be as well. We've got. I saw Mark at Hebben. He's smaller than you think. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Luke. You're a man of many words, and some of them are not even nice. We've got another one here. Langstaff has been unreal.
I can live with that. Come on.
Been one of the best wingers attackers I've seen. Sam Pendleton has put a few seasons. We've missed a clinical goal scorer. Langstaff and Scott have stepped up alongside Campbell. Mickey says great front three. Well, hopefully Niall can hear us now. We're not frozen. Can you hear me now, Niall? Are you all right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, good. We had a little bit of a freeze there when you first came on. Niall, some congratulations are in order, I believe. Assistant media manager up at Blythe Spartans now. Well done.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say congratulations on finally getting a win.
No.
No, we didn't celebrate them yet.
Also as well, we've also, as I say, we've lost another man to marriage. Congratulations, Niall. There we go. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. That's a lovely photo, isn't it?
It is. Well,
yeah, nice
Much above his
surprise.
weight there, son.
Seen it on Twitter. Oh, congratulations, congratulations. But
yeah, I wanted to wear a green and white tie, but she wouldn't let us. So
she's got good taste. That last. Obviously, you picked win against Spennymoor the other day. That must be a bit of a relief to get going under the new manager properly.
Yeah, to be honest, the performances have been there since he came in. Really, the only really bad performance I've seen under Mitchell so far was the first 45 minutes against Fylde away. But he kind of touched on that and said that the long ball, doesn't happen. That's not the football we want to play, and it hasn't happened since. The Southport game, we were excellent. We were excellent from start to finish and conceded two of the sloppiest goals that you'll see. And then yesterday we were excellent again. And when, as Mark touched on earlier, with the 15-minute spell, when Spennymoor scored, you're thinking, oh, not again, but the Blythe players showed excellent character to stop that from happening. And as Mark touched on, some unbelievable saves from Alex Mitchell and some last-ditch defending from Toby Lees and Nathan Buddle. And we've gone up the other end and scored against the run of play, really. We hadn't really had a chance until we got the second goal in the second half. And then, we've seen the game out and deservedly took the 3 points. So, yeah, it's a massive relief. Obviously, massive for the lads' confidence as well, going into, what's the biggest game of the season for the fans, really. So, yeah, it was huge. And hopefully we can build on it on Sunday.
And of course,
Dave, can I just jump in quickly? Just on the points Niall's just made there. Now, I spoke to Anthony Johnson after the game, who was in charge of Chester when they beat Blythe. Was it 5-1, I think, wasn't it, Niall?
Yeah, we were 1-0 at half time.
JJ scored, didn't he? And now, he said that what he saw yesterday from Spartans was a million miles away from what they experienced at Chester, when it was obviously a comfortable win for Chester. But he said that he saw a more organised and more disciplined and a Spartan side with more of a structure, which I think shows what Terry's come in and done in what is still a relatively short space of time. I mean, he's going to be manager, 3 weeks now? He's only had 2 games before yesterday's game. So it's quite the turnaround. And I think it's full credit to Terry and Graham as well. We shouldn't forget Graham, his assistant manager, who was very vocal on the touchline yesterday, keeping things organised. So I think great credit to them. And the fact that an opposition manager has noticed the difference speaks volumes, probably more so than anyone else.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, it's the fact it's just a different style of football, which the lads are still getting used to. But it's, as you've seen yesterday, it's pass and move constantly. And I think he's getting the best out of the players. At the start of the season, what you've seen, the great form we had, those players are performing like that again. Jordan Hickey yesterday was incredible, just like he was at the start of the season. Connor Thompson, another ex-Gateshead lad, out of this world yesterday. One of the best performances I've seen this season from any player. So, he's getting these players, he's picked them up and they believe in them. And when you speak to the players about Mitchell and Graham and they talk about their training sessions and what he has them doing, they love it. They love it. I was speaking to Lewis McNall after the game yesterday, and he only came on for the last sort of 10 minutes, but he couldn't speak any more highly of Graham and Terry. So, and he, and he's been on the bench the majority of the time. So it's one of them where you just think it looks good at the minute. And Terry Mitchell, he's so thorough. He's absolutely amazing in his analysis and how he does everything. He writes everything down. He's incredible, really. I've never actually seen a manager like that personally. So it's really good to see. Hopefully it pays off. But let's not cry off and say that we're going to beat Gateshead on Sunday, because Gateshead are flying. You're a great side. You've got great players. So it's going to be a very difficult game, but one that we hope, with it being a Croft Park, with us having the crowd behind us, hopefully we can nick something.
Yeah, and obviously it's a big game for both sets of fans. It was a bit of a gutter about about Boxing Day, but I had heard it on the grapevine that the pitch was in an awful state, days in the build-up. So just one of them things. But I say we're looking forward to this one. But it is going to be like we know what these games are like. It's unpredictable. Doesn't matter where the form is between the two teams. It is like a cup game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think with us, when we played against the top teams in the division, we've actually looked very good. I mean, we got a draw against Bratley. Second half against Fylde, we did very well when things changed. So the better sides, we've actually done okay. But it's been the other side, your likes of your mid-table teams, like the likes of Leamington and Chorley and teams like that we've just struggled against. So hopefully we can pick ourselves up, pick the game up, and I'm just looking forward to seeing kind of how we cope in a game like that where it's high expectation and the crowd are behind us for a second time in as many days, because we did it brilliantly on Tuesday. Can we do it again?
Well, there's the added space of all the former players as well, isn't there? Especially at Blythe, a lot of them will be wanting to prove a point, and that adds to the occasion as well.
Yeah, it does. Obviously, you've got Toby Lees, and there's so many of them, isn't there, who you've had on the books over the years. But you've obviously got Paul Blackett as well. Whether or not he'll play, he's a player that we loved at Blythe. Massive, so rated him so highly. He was a great player. So yeah, you've got a lot of that as well, and just our players sort of looking like we're coming back into form, like we had at the start of the season. Like yesterday, I could literally list a lot of them: Carl Byrne, Michael Little. Nicky Devidics, I've already touched on Jordan Hickey, JJ O'Donnell, another one of your ex-lads. Dan Maguire, everybody yesterday. Mark will tell you, just looked great for us. So, it's just keeping that consistency now. We had a torrid run. We lost 11 games in a row, I think it was, in the end. Just, I'm glad that's come to an end. And hopefully, like I say, we can just keep it going and just move away from them bottom places, because I don't think by any means we're the worst team in that division. I mean, only one team goes down, and I cannot see it being us. Wishful thinking, maybe, but
at the beginning of the season, with the players that you signed, I honestly expected top 12, even maybe a little bit higher from Blythe. Maybe still not out of the question if you can get on a run of form, because you've got the players there to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still early. We're not even halfway through, really, are we, in the fixture? So, yeah, it's still possible, and the talent's there. I think the thing that Blythe have struggled with this season, like a lot of teams, has been squad depth. We don't have the biggest squad, but we were able to bring. Well, we've got Sado Jallo in from Dunstan, who we haven't really seen much of. We only seen him for a sort of 10-minute period against Southport. But it's adding numbers in there. It's someone else to bring on when needed. So yeah, obviously we've got Rhys Evans out suspended at the minute. He's devastated because he should have been back for the game on Sunday, but with the game being called off on Boxing Day, he's still suspended. So sorry.
Last game of his suspension, I gather.
Yeah, that's his last game. So, we squad depth is something that Blythe, I think, is against us this year. But like I say, there's a lot of teams in that boat. There's a lot of teams. I think Gateshead, you have quite a bit of depth compared to a lot of teams, but for us we don't. Yeah, so that is difficult.
The climate at the moment, I don't know if you've seen today that Bristol City have lost 40 million in the last year. And
that's careless.
I know, but still, you see clubs at a higher level or hemorrhaging money, and it's going to trickle down. Teams can't, if God forbid, we have any more lockdowns or anything like that. Teams just can't survive, and we've seen too many disappear, albeit at a lower level. But we don't need to see any more of that. But thankfully, I think it's benefited a lot of non-league clubs, because a lot of players have maybe had to get realistic with the wages, and they've dropped down some of the levels as well. So where there's a bit of pain, there's a little bit of joy for some clubs. But we'll get that. But Mickey, go on. Have you got any questions for Niall without being nasty?
No.
Be as nasty as you want, Mickey. Be as nasty as you want. It's Derby Day. It's Derby Day.
Obviously, you want to win. I want to win. Simple as. But I was just going to ask, Obviously, JJ's had a good season. I was going to ask what you thought of Toby Lee's.
Toby has probably been our most consistent player. He's virtually played every game. I can't actually think of a game he's missed. When Buddle was injured, he was playing centre half with Sean Reid. So he's been there virtually all season. He's been solid, really. He's not made an obvious mistake. Obviously scored his first goal for us yesterday. And so he's been great. And you know what it is? He's a top lad as well. He's so committed. I think that's the thing. Like, blood, sweat, and tears. There's been, earlier in the season, he went into a challenge. I think it was against Chorley at home, and the Chorley's lads' boot was already in the air. Toby's just headbutted his boot, not bothered, just come in, and he's had to wear a head bandage for the rest of the game. And fans love to see that, don't they? Every fan loves to see a player, a warrior.
I bet his girlfriend didn't love to see it. She's gonna look
I
at us.
bet no. I bet no.
When he was, I thought he was a great player. I was surprised when they just let him go. I was really surprised. And when he rocked up at you, I thought, well, he's got a bloody good player there. Yeah,
he got up to Christmas, didn't he? And then after that, we didn't renew his loan with Harrogate. I don't think it was, and it was a shame because he seemed to be quite good. But I say we had some other. Jay Cooper was there at the club. Nicholson was slotting back into left there into centre back at the time. So, but Niall, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your prediction for Sunday?
It's a difficult one. I think we've got a very good record against you lot over the last few years. Our lads have got a tendency to really step up the game. So, you know what it is? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to say 2-1 Blythe, and I'm going to say JJ is going to get the winner later on.
Oh, you horrible man.
You bitch.
Was there any need for that? Was there any need?
I hope his mic guns off.
I know.
Yeah. You know what he's like, though? He's up for it, isn't he? JJ loves it. He loves anything. He loves derbies and stuff like that. So, he'll be...
I bet you have no problems having an interview with JJ.
Oh, no, he loves it. Well, you got to give him 20 minutes to do his hair first, but once he's done that, he's...
we had his uncle phone up the podcast once, and he was telling us about how he shaved all his body hair. So if you want to bring up that in any future interviews with him, use that. But he likes
doing
to
a marathon in his speedos.
Yeah,
I will do. I tell you what, he's another one. Like, he's a warrior. He actually, I don't know if you know, he's actually manager of our under-19s now as well. So he's.
So it's nice to see him continue to develop. He's a very driven
coach by all accounts as well.
Great coach. I've heard. He's just a great lad, and you know what it is. He's one of them as well. On an away day, he'll come up and sit with the media a lot and stuff like that. We were doing some graphics. It was a failed away, I think. We're doing some graphics, and he's seen us doing graphics, and he come up and sat with us. He's like, "What does mine look like? Show us mine," because we were doing them as like a Spartan, you know. So he's a character, isn't he?
He's so
but if he was to get the winner on Sunday, would you still love him as much as what you do, or
take a while?
Yeah, I couldn't say a bad word against. Yeah, I'd be pissed off he scored against and scored the winner, but I would never have a go at him.
No.
Can I just say as well, when it comes to predictions, lads, I
knew this was coming. I know exactly what's coming.
Yeah. So basically, yesterday I asked Mark his prediction, and he got it spot on. He said 3-1. But he said to Spenny.
Did he? He said to me, I asked him how many red cards there would be, because I thought Spenny they're on a bit of red cards. I thought there might have been a couple. So
there's one in itself.
Yeah.
So it was a great prediction.
I'll ask Mark for his prediction.
Just before I do it, and I'm going to try waffle as long as I can here, so I don't have to do it. But looking at last season, the 2-2 game at Croft Park. Now, I watched that via a stream, and it was horrendous, really, watching it that way, because there was nothing in the stands. There was no atmosphere. There was just, all you could hear was the noise of the players. And then I look back to the year before, which was the 3-3 on New Year's Day, wasn't it? And the atmosphere that day in both sets of supporters made for such a big occasion. And I think that's the one thing I'm looking forward to most on Sunday is experiencing that derby atmosphere again. And yes, it was good yesterday, and Niall backed me up on that. It was a really good atmosphere.
Yeah,
but
it
I think
fantastic. Yeah.
there'll be something a little bit extra on Sunday. There is that little bit of spark when Spartans play Gateshead. It's going to be a great occasion, and hopefully one that's met with a great match between two sides that will think they can beat each other.
Yeah. Well, now the prediction.
Hang on, I think the internet's gone down.
Yeah.
Have I frozen?
No.
I think it'll be a high-scoring game as it tends to be at Croft Park. I think it'll be 3-2 either way. There's my prediction.
You've took the words out of my mouth. That's what I think.
Sitting on the fence.
I was going to say he sat on the fence there. That's what he's done. He sat on the fence.
I think it'll be 3-2 either way.
I'll tell you what I will say. And one thing I noticed about Spartans yesterday, and from talking to Terry after the game, Gateshead will have to deal with some high-quality crosses in the area in terms of set pieces, because every time Nicky Devidics took a set piece yesterday, they were causing issues for Spenny's, and that's where Toby Lee's goal come from. Yeah. And I think Gateshead will have to manage that situation very well. Now, they do have defenders that can do that, in Mike Williamson, if he plays, in Louis Story, people like that, Owen Bailey, obviously, Jack Hunter. That could be a big factor. But I will say 3-2 either way, because I think, and I said this, I don't know if Niall was listening earlier, but ahead of yesterday, I thought Gateshead would go to Croft Park and win reasonably comfortably. But yesterday, I think just muddied the waters a little bit and put a little bit of doubt in the mind, possibly over that happening. I think it'll be a tight game. And I do think, as I say, 3-2 either way.
Mickey, away. What's yours?
It's going to say 12, isn't it?
I'm hoping it's 12-0 to us.
Oh, we'll see.
but it's probably Niall does as well to them. But I think there's that many Gateshead players in there wanting to prove a point, but I still think it'll be 3-1 to us.
Yeah, and I don't know if Niall's. Was he? I think he froze for a little bit there, but So we've got our predictions, and the only thing that's left is to get to the game, really. And Niall, you're providing match day commentary, I presume, because there's quite a few people isolating at the minute. I'm one of them people. Just popped today. So where will people be able to listen to the match on Sunday?
Sorry, I've just cut off again. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I just cut off. Believe it or not, I've just had a positive test. Today. So I won't be attending either. It's funny that you're saying that, because I was actually going to say if you were doing commentary on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're struggling with the media lads at the minute. So we're going to try and see what we can do this week. Myself and Stephen Burton, the media manager, are going to see what we can do. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have some sort of coverage of the game.
Niall, smoke signals.
Niall, do you want me to do it?
Mark, if you want to do it, that would be absolutely amazing. Phil Castillo is still fit and healthy at the minute. So if you want to do it, Mark.
If you can't find anyone else, then I'll do it.
No, never mind. Anyway. Can't find anyone else. I'm not looking anymore. You're doing it. That's voluntary. That
I can vouch.
I can come in.
Yeah. I've got witnesses. I hope someone's got this on record. Yeah, no, right, Mark. Yeah, Mark, if you could do that for us, that would be absolutely fantastic. You actually started at Spartans, didn't you, Mark? Am I right or am I wrong?
I did. I was press officer during. I was press officer in the season after they got relegated from the National League North, up until I think the season before they got promoted, pretty much. But I was there during the run when they beat Hartlepool and played Birmingham, and I owe the club a lot for what I'm doing now. And particularly, you mentioned him there, Phil Castillo, who has helped a lot of people go on to work in full-time media roles. So it's, I'm looking forward to Sunday. And as I say, if it helps both sets of fans, if people are isolating, then if you need a commentator, I don't mind doing that.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be fantastic. Like I say, because I'll want to listen. I'll be sitting here wanting to listen. I was going to say if my wife was going to go to the game and just text us what was happening, but she said no.
Well, for divorce, that Niall, grounds for divorce.
It is. I get the paperwork drawn up
with a video camera.
Trouble in paradise already. What can you say?
Just drop us a DM on Twitter and we'll set that up.
That's fantastic.
I want a prediction of Mickey Barras first. I've not had one yet.
Oh, you didn't hear it? He said 12-0.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I said me and Niall probably won 12-0 to each, both of us. Either way.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of players that Blythe got a point to prove, but I still think we'll win 3-1.
You know what it is, Mickey? I've supported Blythe just like you've supported Gateshead probably your entire life. I've supported Blythe. Blythe were the first team I went to see live when I was 4-year-old or whatever it was, you know. And I've been to lots of these games. You know, I remember when we played you twice in the season when you were in the league above us, in the FA Cup and the FA Trophy. I think it was about 10 years ago. You know, great occasions, even though they were both 2-0 wins for years and you never really broke a sweat. The build up, the atmosphere. I love these games. I love playing these. I love, you know, your fans are great. We have great crap with the fans in the pubs, and you know, I've never seen any problems or any bother at a Blythe Gateshead game. I've never seen it. Other people might have. I haven't. I've seen them at Blythe Darlington games. In other rival clubs, but I've never seen them against Gateshead.
I mean, obviously, let's hope it continues in that vein, and we all enjoy a good game of football and a good advert for non-league football in the North East. Because I think, Mark will probably vouch for this. He's been to Wembley many times with the Northern League teams, but the North East is the hotbed of non-league football for me. It really is, and I think we've got some fantastic clubs up here, and we've got a lot of clubs on the rise as well, as you'll see if you go on Mark's Northern Goals show. Talk about them all the time. So, but yeah, I think it should be a fantastic day. But Niall, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. And I say I'll probably message you to see how you're doing in isolation, and I might rub it in if we win.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Rub it in. That's what it's all about. Yeah, thanks for having us, lads. And Mark, thank you very much for volunteering for Sunday as well, because we need coverage of the game. So I would really appreciate that if you can do it.
And I just come in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Niall. Get well soon, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Hope it's not as bad as it's been all over the place. But I really wanted to stuff you on Sunday.
Well, it's been a while. When was that?
I know. I've said it myself. You've got the upper hand at the minute. We just kind of seem to. You keep coming up with wonder goals. Was it McEwen's goal a couple of years back? What a goal
McEwen, I tell you what, I have to watch that goal on mute because I hit levels I didn't know existed when that went in.
I've hit a few levels like that. I think there's a couple of wheels out at sea of communicating back.
Yeah, I can't watch that goal with noise. I feel sorry for Mark, who was sitting at home watching the stream at the time, listening to that.
I was watching.
He sat next to me when I'm doing it.
Well, I was watching some of Dave's from earlier in the season, and my dog went nuts when the goal went in.
It happens. It's just a natural reaction, isn't it? Now.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. That's exactly. Especially when you support the club, it is. You can't help it. I think the ones from the game yesterday are going to be a bit ridiculous. I haven't heard them yet, but I'm certainly not looking forward to that. Anyway.
I'll let you go, but thank you very much, Niall.
Right, cheers, lads. Mark, thank you again. I'll get in touch with you about that, Mark. Thank you very much. See you
later, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, there we go. Niall, fancy turning up in his Blythe shirt. No, lovely to have him on. And what's the odds on both the commentators from each side having go?
This is true. I'm staying away from everyone over the next few days.
Yeah, I think I should. But look at
that. He don't have the stream away from each other.
I know it's worrying, really, isn't it? I mean, you see the figures today, but but as I say, no, I still had good viewing figures and lots of messages. If you want to send them in, we've got about 5 minutes left. Mark, if you need to get away, or if you can stay with us, that'd be fantastic.
I'm going to get away because the doors just went me takeaways here. So
well, there we go. We'll let Mark get to his takeaway.
I'll get the Mark's for his takeaway. Well, I will.
You stay away. Dave definitely will.
You can put a fork out through the letterbox, and I'll just.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But Mark, thank you very much. And as I say, at least there's going to be someone there providing commentary, and it's going to be you. So well done.
That's what you're doing, Dave. Stay safe, and I hope you get better soon. And Mickey, have a good birthday, mate.
Thank you, and all the best to you.
Cheers. Thank you, Mark.
See you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Take care.
There we go. Two fantastic guests there. Say building bridges. I think that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? We'll have a good rivalry. We'll have a bit chit chat, and well, look, they managed to have coverage there for the people isolating through the Heat Army podcast. So there we go. But no, hey, I say
brotherhood.
it is. But Niall's a nice lad. He's a Blythe fan, of course. Yeah. So and congratulations to him as well. His recent nuptials, and obviously assistant media manager up there. And say I respect anyone that is trying to promote their club. That's what it's all about, and that's what we're all about. So if you'd like to subscribe, please do. Like us on Twitter and on Facebook, and just share the show. You see, we've been doing it on video for a year now. I think we've got a little bit better at it, haven't we, Mickey?
Well, I don't know about you.
I don't know about me, but even still, even though
I want to improve on.
I've worked my way through one can in this one. There's 2 cans in there. It could have got 3, but let's see, I've got weak wrists.
I've drank a cup of coffee and I'm halfway through my Coke.
Yeah, well, we'd like to have the listeners, what are called in there, predictions. We had Gordon's come up there, respect the Mark for putting on, jumping into the commentary. 3-2 from Gordon. Kieran Alpin come back to Gateshead in January. I don't know. I think it was a 6-month loan along with Nelson Ogboys as well, wasn't it? So we'll have to see what happens there. He scored at the weekend, Kieran Alpin, free kick against Dunstan.
Well.
Yeah, so no, I didn't see this one. Why is Niall wearing his Christmas jumper? Oh, fantastic. John Laverick, he's put, let's make it 8 wins. It's Spartans. And yeah.
Be nice, John. Would be very nice.
Mason Ford's jumped in with 2-2. It's going to be a tough game. It really is. A game to enjoy. I wish I was going to be up there for it, but
it's one of them, Dave, when it comes, you look forward to it, but on the day you
dread it. Yeah.
Washing machine.
Certainly do. And but I mean, both sets of players have got to go out there. I think wherever it was going to be played, like the reverse fixture, I think our pitch wasn't in the greatest of nick. Both teams got to play on it. Both teams got to adapt to the situations. It's that time of year. And, well, it's all set up for an absolute belter.
It is. I mean, especially them winning yesterday, just sets it up nicely, doesn't it? And
it does.
If our lads think they can walk up there and stroll out with 3 points, I don't think they will. But they'll need to get their thinking caps on.
Definitely, I don't think Ian Watson, especially having played, been involved at both clubs, he'll know. And Mike Williamson as well. They'll know what's at stake here. They'll know there's a few of the players have been involved in these games already at the club. They'll know, how the fans feel. Both sets of supporters. It'll be a melting pot out there on the pitch, and hopefully, we can come through it. And Sam Pelton's put 1-1. See, everyone's going with a tough one here. Gordman's put all the best for 2022. Well, thank you very much. All the best to everyone else as well out there as well. We hope everyone has a lovely new year. Just be safe if you're going out mixing lateral flows.
Megan said happy birthday. It was earlier.
Yeah, Meg said happy birthday and a massive happy birthday. I tell you what, we'll get them fireworks on again. Do you like that? 1 second, there we'll go. Fireworks. There you go. And just no expense spared. Look at that.
2 hours of being in my 40s, Davey.
Oh God.
And I spent 1 hour of the last 3 with you.
I know. Well, that's it. It's lovely. That. Also, as well, we've got one other effect that we haven't used yet. But Mickey, are you feeling cold? Because we're in a snowstorm. Oh. Yes, I've got too much time on my hands. And it's probably going to get worse with isolation. We've got Mr. Luke has put 3-1 to Gateshead.
Well done, Mr. Luke.
Yeah, well, let's hope it goes that way. And a big thank you to everyone that's tuned in, sent messages. It's been a good show. We've enjoyed it. Mark is always good quality, as was Niall. I'm sure we'll probably speak to Niall when the reverse fixture is rearranged. But regardless of what happens on Saturday, what a year it's been for Gateshead. When you go back to this time last year, the season was more or less done and dusted. It was voided. 12 months later, we're sitting second in the league, 2 games in hand, only 2 points behind. It's fantastic, and it's all down to the hard work to everyone at the football club. We keep seeing it. It doesn't matter if it's someone that's selling programs, all the way up to the people on the board and the lads on the pitch and the management team, everyone is playing their part. The Gateshead Soul is massively important as well. Please do follow them on social media. If you're not already involved, go on the website, see if you want to help and get involved and be part of the club, be part owner. Yeah, and be a member and join that. So yeah, it'd be great. Well, we've got another one here. Charles Waugh, I took a COVID test today. Got the results I'm expecting. So, well, I hope that's good. Not on the bad one. Let's see, I've got to wait for my PCR test to be posted out because you can't book one at a testing centre because it's that bad at the minute. So I was lucky enough to get that. But hopefully, let's see, I think I know it's the lateral flow test that I've got it. So, yeah, we'll just hopefully it isn't too bad. They'll be all right, man. If this is the last podcast, boo the Spartans. I nearly stuck my fingers up there. If I'm going to go
if they're true or not, man, it could be exactly the same as a common cold, man.
Yeah, well, we'll just see. Hopefully it isn't too bad. But I'm all right at the minute. I'd say it's only just been diagnosed today. Well, not diagnosed, just the COVID test. I don't feel any different. So
you've had the booster now, haven't you?
I've had the booster, yeah. So hopefully it should be, all right. I'd imagine it will be. I mean, I feel gorgeous still, but bet Meg's looking at us new winking. But on that note, we'll say Happy New Year. And if you're going up to Blythe Spartans, we hope you have a safe trip. Enjoy it. These are the games that we follow football for, the derby games. And hopefully we can come out of it with a point or 3 points and keep this fantastic season rolling along. Mickey, it's been an absolute pleasure as ever. Thank you for another year of podcasting. I've really enjoyed it. And
next year.
Yeah, let's go next year, and hopefully we'll be bringing you more on the Heed On Me podcast when COVID lets us record more stuff out and about. So on that note,
we're hoping to do a good January the 2nd and an even better start of the year.
It would be fantastic. Well, who knows? We could be top at the end on January the 2nd night evening, couldn't we? Let's hope so. Fingers crossed. On that note, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Take care. All the best, everyone.
Bye.